Hello. Right, I'm not going to overcomplicate this. This little rant has been in my head for a couple of days. It's two-parter, but one video. Natural light, me, bald, beard untreated. This is a story about the mega event that happened Friday gone, so it's just gone Tuesday now. Yesterday I found out that everything went well. The bin man's probably going to come up the street. Now this is random. Now there's going to be not many overlays, might be a couple, maybe it's not. Hang on. Yep, it's the bin man. Anyway, so it's going to take a while to get started here. So the mega event on Friday went extremely well, and like yesterday when I heard from the Metrocentre, it was mental. But like to get to that point, normally we're vlogging and filming my life and everything going on. If you watch Lonely Tree content, and I am really trying to keep it up to date, but like I put a video out there and someone will message and I'm like, man, I made that video weeks and weeks and weeks ago. What are they talking about? I'm trying to be very spontaneous now. So I'm trying to film new content. I'm also trying to work on a lot of stuff, but like this has been on the back burner for ages. I was meant to direct a music video for Scott, Michael Cavigan, for the start of this. In my week off a few weeks back, we both decided that we're going to wait. We're going to wait for something else down the line. Again, I'm going to mention that because it is happening. But again, because of this mega event, it was another thing. There's a lot of other events happening. Jeff Mull is literally in 2 weeks as well. And then you've got Jack Millicross. I've just butchered his name. So they're all landing quite quickly together. But this mega event, man, it was just insane. So like, since we moved shop, we haven't had a live show until Mitch played, and we haven't had one because like in like 6-7 months, one COVID for example. But then the shop, like the new shop's a lot better, but space is a problem, and obviously we're not like a lot of the live and local since they were relaunched have had bands blocking off whole things, pallets, pianos, crazy dance things, crazy karaoke things, just, you know, some people are just like, just wild, you know, wild. And I'm like, right, okay. So we had a really good run before lockdown in the old shop, HMV, Gateshead, Volume 2. And we had Mitch, Cav, Liam, Beth McCary, Elizabeth Little, Steve Pledger. We had these guys all play, guys and girls, all play. And even when we had Beth play with her band, we had a bit of a noise complaint, but it was always cool to take out the posters. They were easy shifted, and then the glass between the mall and the shop made really good for filming, you know, like the sound was quite good, and like people passing by, and you know, it was an interesting backdrop rather than just like a shop or just what's behind me, like a load of VHSs there. So it worked, and obviously lockdown happened, and then, you know, after we came out of the third lockdown, we moved shop, which was insane. So, you know, doing the shop video was pretty epic. And if you watch that rant when I'm standing actually over there about the trilogy, how we got from the wall and the house to the shop moving, to the shop being painted, to, you know, how we actually got there. This is a kind of similar story. So when they said they wanted to bring live and local back, I was like, right, okay. So Mitch came in to test the waters. Now, we were meant to have the Mitch Laddie band play on the day the shop opened, which got cancelled because the shop was delayed being opened. So, and Johnny Blue Hat Davis was meant to play as well, who's obviously Sam's Fender's saxophone player. And we had to can that because he was then going on tour or whatever. It was just mental. But they were going to let us play a full band, you know, and not all the unitaries had been locked in place, so there was some moving around the shop. And then the shop opens, he's a band playing, this is the next direction. But nothing really happened for a while. A lot of other HMVs had started doing stuff, and I was like, well, you know, so Mitch had came in, and we tested that, and we got a noise complaint, which, you know, like someone had said, oh, he's too loud, and Mitch was using his PA system and he's looping pedals, and there was a technical issue with one of the tracks when the track started to boom, but like it wasn't anyone's fault, it's just technical stuff that happens. And the idea of having the front of the shop kind of worked, so we wanted to try something else, so I asked Liam to come and play. So then I had Liam at the back of the shop, different power supply, different kind of amps and stuff like that, and different kind of like blocked off. So both of them I think went well, but again I felt very limited on that. And going forward, I like personally, like me now, after all the years of working with bands and music videos and stuff like that, and like locations, scouting and then taking over a location and putting a video together, and then even like live ones, either it would be the buskers or the old pub nights and stuff like that. It's kind of like been here, done that, and it's great to finally actually do it on a HMV level. Don't get me wrong, because like years and years ago when Mitch's live album Live at the Clooney came out, I was just like, can we not do something big and bold with this? And we took over HMV Newcastle, which was mental because it's not even the HMV I work at. There was the Northumberland Street one as well. And we just took over the entire first floor and had the band play fully live, and the footage came out great. And like, that's what it needed to be, you know. There's a local band recording a local album at the Clooney, supported in the local HMV. So that was like 2015, about 2015, I would say. And, you know, like nothing really happened ages after that, you know what I mean? This kind of seemed to be not the thing going on. But to me now, it's kind of like, you can have bands in and they go wild, and like, I've seen some where bands are just parading around because everything's wireless these days and age, and like, you know, it's just still a shop. It's not a pub, but my interest going forward was like, well, does it really have to be a band? Because it's live and local artists. So there's a lot of absolute amazing talent out there, especially with me going to the cons and filming that and just collaborating with people over YouTube. So straight away I was just like, well, why can't we just have a table, leave someone to their own devices, and like, you know, bring these people in, bring people like Offron Jones in, bring people like What If Stories up, you know, a Killian Cage Go, bring these people up, come and stay here if they need to stay here. There's a table, meet people and support your local artists, mint artists, like here in Evil Eye Art, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's it, in Evil Eye Art, in Evil Hour. That's a really good band. But see, would I have an Evil Hour play? Would Evil Hour play in HMV? Of course I would. Is it going to be insane? Of course it would be. You know, is it something that could happen? Of course it could be. But like, it's kind of like, it's still work. It's still got the general public to like deal with and stuff like that. So the idea of doing a local table was something that sparked my interest, and it goes back to like last year. There was a record fair at Durham, and Cav invited us across, and we went across. And I love Durham as a shopping place, and the Market Tavern's always really cool. And Cav was playing outside, and there's a lot of footage of that on the YouTube channel. And I walked into the hall where they were having a record fair, and there was Dave Smith from Sapien Records, who was someone I've known over the last couple of years through passing and like getting to know. And obviously Cav's music until recently was the main theme tune to Lonely Tree. The Future was from 21st Century Love. 21st Century Love, the song was used for Welcome to the Land of the Long White Cloud intro. And Dave's been awesome to let me use this music, and it was great to just hang with Dave for a bit, and like his presentation of his record label, what's actually his label, and he has some really good artists on there, and his presentation was really good. And then, you know, Cav was playing outside, and like, I'm like, right, okay, this is something different, you know, that's where the spark of the idea came from. And they had a couple of bands on out in the outside the big cathedral, the church and stuff like that, in Market Square. So, you know, Cav was playing out there live. Then the guy who followed him was in fact Benjamin Amos. At the time I took a little bit of clip of him footage, but like, I was like, alright, he was quite cool, but you know, as you do, as you pass on by. And me and Dave started talking about this, and I says it would be really cool to support a local label. And it's sort of like exploded. Now, the reason why I pushed so well to do it for was that day I spoke to Dave. Dave told me about Steve Strong. Now, Steve Strong's album is absolutely amazing. Turbo Island's absolutely amazing. And it was just playing away in the other room. And when HMV moved, I had something like 400 or 500 clips to get through. And it was like, my God, like, what am I going to do here? And the original idea was to use Scott's music from his new EP, To Be Someone. But then I thought it's going to be too subliminal. It's going to be like, you know, how can you take nearly like 40 minutes of footage and put it in 5 minutes? You can do it, but it's going to be subliminal. And Steve's music, David sold me on this. You know, I bought the album, I got the CD, I got the t-shirt. It's a splatter vinyl. It's awesome. And it was just playing in the background. And like, I've told you the whole story about this. It just worked. And Dave didn't have to say yes. Steve Strong didn't have to say yes, but they both said yes. And I actually used 6 tracks off that album. And the HMV Moving video, it's almost like the soundtrack to it, you know. And it shows a lot. It shows the shop from ground zero up to being open. It also shows you Two Frag and Glenn Malpass coming in, and the music used, and like it was really fun to edit that. It was really funny to change the pace, to you help us chop footage down, move footage slightly, and tell a story, you know, visually. And that was something I was very, very happy with. So I kind of owe Dave a massive one for that, because, you know, he was like, just go for it, and Steve Strong was just go for it. So originally the idea was to have Steve Strong play in the shop, and Steve's all the way down south, and he's just been on tour as well. And me and Dave talked about this, like, right, here's the idea, you come in, there's a table, left to your own devices, you're self-contained, he's a nice guy, you know, I mean, I trust him enough to just leave him there, and, you know, his representation, because like at the end of the day, if you're at the front of the shop and you're like sitting on a table, people's going to go, have you got this? And he'd be like, I don't work here. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, takes the right kind of people, you know, interaction and stuff like that. So the idea was like, I'll host, so I'll never be too far away from Dave, and then we'll have Steve Strong play in the shop. And I looked at the location. Now, in all this time with the Mitch and Liam thing, I got really close with the Metrocentre, like talking to them, and I was just like, you know, like, you know, yeah, we got the noise complaint, but what do you do? And like the new owners of the Metrocentre are really awesome. They've got some really good Metrocentre management. Like Coastal's been a massive part of this, and you know, it's been about 3 or 4 months in the making. Seriously, like when Dave originally said there's a date, and then Dave needed to move the date, it was something like 3 months. I was like, all right. Like, I was, me personally, I was trying to do it like in 2 weeks time or something, like something new, something fresh, but he was like, I was like, all right, whatever. And then, you know, slowly like the dates started creeping up, and, you know, Dave really handled it brilliantly. He was, you know, he was a massive part of like, he's an idea, the artwork, when he got commissioned done was amazing by Andrew Wright Art. Sorry if I've just absolutely killed the artist's name, but they did the amazing artwork, concept drawing, and we're just collaborating. It started to get a little bit complex and a lot of like beyond and bounds and like stressful, because like not long after, my big boss, the regional manager, was down, and there was a lot of push to do bigger and better, and I'm like, and venture out. And there's a part of me like going, right, let's go to work, do this, come back, and there's a nice freedom about it. But there's the idea of me away from work when production stuff, and the experience I've got with traveling and filming and all this kind of stuff, and like especially with bands, like what's the biggest thing you can come up with? Like, yeah, you can play it in the store, that's one thing, but can we play in the Metrocentre? And that was like, it was I swore, I'm trying not to swear, this was like a pipe dream. And in one of the meetings with the Metrocentre, I says, look, like, we're trying to do this, that, you know, we're trying to bring in artists and all this kind of stuff down the line. It gets a little bit, you know. And then the Metrocentre were like, right, well, why don't you, on this date, play on the stage where the gnomes are? Really? First time ever. I'm like, what? So, it started with a couple of emails back and forth. The concept idea. What if after the gnomes finish playing at 6:30 till 9 o'clock, you played on this like $2.5 grand rented stage in front of thousands of people passing by right outside of Primark, right over just the balcony of the shop as well. So you know what I mean, it's like there, the HMV presents, it's up there, and it literally, like, it was a pipe dream. And the boss found out about it as we told him, so it's kind of like it could happen, it could not happen. The rec told Dave, he was like, really cool, and then he started like throwing ideas together, and then it just, you know, it goes from like playing in the shop to like risk assessments and all this kind of stuff that is just way out of there, and like liability insurance and like communication, and like Karen and Kev, who are my like managers, really like dug the deep in and helped out massively. Because there's stuff where you're just like, whoa, you know, like there's just so much going on here, coordinating as a team, and that was really cool. And then unfortunately Steve Strong couldn't come, and it's a shame, and it's going to happen eventually. But the other problem as well was we're taking Steve Strong out the equation. we were then looking at acoustics, and it's down to Dave. I says, look, Cav's got to play, he's on your label. And then Dave approached Courtney and Benjamin, and like, so it's a massive diverse kind of style, but like keeping it acoustic. Right, okay, artwork's coming in, right, okay, and like, honest to God, we were talking, we talked to like all the local shops. And then obviously Matt as well. I says, look, if I'm going to do something like that in the mall, like, Matt needs to do the sound, because I need fully, like, me personally, I want the best sound possible, but I also want someone I trust to be there. And like, that was one thing. And then I didn't say anything on vlog. It would have been cool to really vlog a lot of this and like the on concept ideas. And then it got to the point where until 48 hours before the actual dig, it was fully officially confirmed. There was points in the last 2 weeks where I thought we're going to have to cancel it and just keep it in the shop, but everything fell into place, everything came through. The setup on the day, Dave was mint, and we had a problem the first day on the morning. Matt had broke his shoulder tendon or something like that, surfing. So it was kind of like Matt came through as well. Matt could have just fobbed us off, but Matt was there 100% and brought Ryan down as well. So I was calm about that. Courtney was awesome, and so was Benjamin. And obviously, I've realised I met Benjamin at the Durham thing. The interaction at the table was mint. Just being with Dave all day, and some of the stories we were coming out with was hilarious. People were buying the t-shirts, the vinyls, the cassettes, not even knowing anything about the bands. Just like, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to buy it. The prints, he got limited edition prints of the artwork, sold out, mint. The performances in the shop went well. We tried for a new location right next to t-shirt wall. Sod's law though, like as soon as we put the table up and a chair, some old man about 60 got on his hands and knees and crawled underneath the table. I didn't want to film this, to try and get a t-shirt that was nothing in. We didn't pick that spot because it was available. We picked it because there was none of them t-shirts in stock. And then the Metrocentre as well, paying for banners, these pop-up banners that just look like lush. And then, Courtney, Cav and Benjamin all played awesome in the shop. They attracted a lot of attention. They sold albums on that, then down to the mall, man. And like, we had one incident where someone from a shop came over like, oh, it's way too loud. Whoa, it's a sound check. Just chill. It's a sound check, right? And then they went on, and we decided to put Courtney on first because the Gnomes had just been playing, and Courtney appeals to a lot of younger audience. She was class, she was really good. Benjamin followed. Benjamin was absolutely awesome. And then Cav capped it off, headline technically, and like, just like that event, that room, that mall is huge. The amount of people walking by, taking pictures, the amount of people just sitting watching, like the sound went up as well. It's not like a close seal stuff, and like just being around there, security, like I had the 8 security guards around us, and there's one security guy, he's mint, but he's by the book, and even he came up to buy an album after, which was absolutely awesome. Everything seemed to go down really, really well on the day. So getting home, it was a 13-hour shift for me personally, and I was back to work the next morning at 7:30. So literally, I think I slept for about 6 hours, if I did sleep at all. And then I was literally burnt out on the Saturday night. I put together a couple of clips, mastered them, see how they look like, and it's only been since yesterday that Courtney's, Benjamin's and Scott's full songs have been developed, because I didn't overfilm either. Camera went down, and I've got one camera in my hand. I've got, like, you know what I mean? I can't, because of how much responsibility was on my shoulders that night, and all them people and all these different elements and all these different things. It was a team effort, don't get me wrong, but like filming wise, it just, you don't want to be knee deep down going, right? So I picked one song of each in the shop and one song of each on the mall to film and put the camera down. Then I decided which ones went forward first. So essentially 2 phases, So everyone's got one in the shop and everyone's got one on the mall. And then obviously there's a lot of vlog footage. So, there's a really funny clip of me and Cav behind the curtain before he goes out and plays, which is really cool, breaking that wall. And just, it was all cool. But it was a long day. It was a long night. And up until yesterday, it's going to happen again. Well, the next time we do it, it's going to be, I love Steve Strong to do it, but it just depends. It's HMV, you just never know. The most important thing is we did it, and it looked great. It sounded mint, and there was not a problem, and everyone wanted it to happen, and everyone came together to make it happen. So massive shout out to Sapien Records, massive shout out to Courtney, Benjamin and Cal for doing it as well. It was a great day. As I say, couldn't ask for it more. And then HMV Gateshead as well, like massive shout out all the way down. Just even the staff who like did it out in the tills, like still trying to serve people while there's a band playing. It's quite a hard thing to do. Do you need a bag? Cav's voice just bellowing across the shop. But yeah, they hope they see this fill the rant in. Again, it's just me just waffling away. But again, I've been thinking about it and going, right, how did that even happen? And like, you know, in a sense where I should have been like, oh, like, guess what's going to happen this week? We're trying to do this. No, it's great just to sit down, strip back video, no extra footage, me, just being me. And yeah, random. Thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe to Lonely Tree Entertainment and check the videos out. And I keep an eye because there's going to be more. Goodbye.